Hello everyone, back again with movie and tune recap. Today, I'm going to explain an American horror slasher film from 2013 titled Hatchet Part 3. Spoilers ahead, so watch out and take care. The film starts up immediately after the end of the last film, Hatchet 2, with Marybeth Dunstan blowing off the head of Victor Crowley with a shotgun. As she walks away to catch her breath, Victor Crowley sinisterly comes to life. Continuing her journey, she comes across the bodies of Vernon and John, hearing Crowley's voice in the woods. Afraid, Marybeth picks up a rifle, but there are no bullets. She then starts up a chainsaw but is grabbed by Victor. Marybeth puts her hand in Victor's face, and he falls backward onto the chainsaw, cutting him down the middle. She then grabs a shotgun from one of the men, takes Victor's scalp, and walks back into the city, bloodied and disoriented. The scene then shifts to the Jefferson Parish Police Department, where we see Officer Deputy Winslow trying to settle a distressed call on the walkie-talkie about a man who called to inform the police that his neighbor keeps disturbing him with loud music despite telling the neighbor to turn it down. During this, he is called in by Sheriff Fowler. As they are conversing, they hear a scream in the station. She has a gun. Running there, they see Marybeth holding a shotgun and Victor's scalp. There, she is apprehended by the police, and she keeps saying she has killed him, and when Sheriff asks who, she says Victor Crowley and asks them to search the Honey Island swamp. Marybeth is then cleaned up and placed in a cell after the discovery of 20 to 30 bodies at Honey Island swamp. She is considered the prime suspect in the murders by Sheriff Fowler, even after pleading innocence and recounting the events that occurred in the swamp multiple times. The sheriff decides to go to the swamp with paramedics and the fire department, leaving Deputy Winslow in charge of the station until his return. On his way, he encounters Amanda, his ex-wife, a journalist, and Victor Crowley expert, who has come to the station to interview Marybeth about what happened. Despite pleading with her ex-husband to allow her to conduct the interview, Sheriff Fowler declines and heads to the swamp. Left without any option, Amanda seeks Deputy Winslow's help, but he also declines. When she mentions she's about to post Marybeth's bail, Winslow decides to allow her. In the cell, she comes face to face with Marybeth, and as we know, Marybeth is stubborn and sees everyone as her enemy. Amanda reveals she is here to help her get out of the cell but insists Marybeth must tell her everything that happened in the swamp before she can assist. Amanda threatens her that if she refuses, she will be left in the cell, tried, and executed for what happened at Honey Island swamp. Initially stubborn and reluctant, Marybeth decides to give in to Amanda's request. She recounts what happened in the Honey Island swamp and how she killed Victor Crowley by dismembering and decapitating him before running off. After that, Amanda tells her that Victor Crowley is a repeater, set to relive the night he died, looking for his father. He will keep coming back unless he gets what he wants, his father. At Honey Island swamp, a group of policemen and fire department officials, led by Deputy Hamilton, search for missing corpses. Deputy Hamilton meets with Jim, the leader of the paramedics, who inquires about the situation. Deputy Hamilton states that they are still investigating and don't have much information at the moment. After their conversation, Jim instructs his fellow paramedics, Ben and Randy, to bring the discovered corpses back to the ship, and he asks Andrew, an Asian colleague, to go with them. The group is startled when they see one of the fire department officials carrying a decapitated head. Later, the body of Victor Crowley is bagged and tagged, placed into the ambulance boat by Andrew and the other paramedic. Andrew reveals to Randy that this particular body is deformed and was lying on one of the biggest chainsaws he has ever seen. He believes that this corpse may be behind the swamp massacre and urges Randy to take a look before moving it onto the boat and placing it on a table. As night falls, paramedic Randy continues his work. Suddenly, Victor reanimates and blows Randy's head off with a defibrillator. Deputy Hamilton investigates and goes to the boat where he sees Victor. Hamilton shoots him down, thinking it's over, but Victor comes back to life, picks up a hatchet, and kills Hamilton by hacking his head in half. While Victor Crowley may seem convincing in the movies, he is ultimately a fictional character, much like Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, and other movie killers. The idea for Victor Crowley was conceived by Adam Green long before he directed Hatchet. In fact, the concept originated when Green was just 8 years old, as a way to scare his friends. Victor proceeds to kill 10 other fire department officials and paramedics, leaving Andrew, Rick, and another missing paramedic alive. Back at the station, upon hearing about the carnage over the radio, Amanda convinces Deputy Winslow to release Marybeth from jail and help save those at the swamp. Initially reluctant, Winslow decides to free Marybeth, and they embark on their journey. Meanwhile, back at the swamp, a SWAT team led by Hawes, consisting of 6 armed men and 1 armed woman named Doherty, takes over the operation from Fowler and leads them to the Crowley house. In the woods, the group discovers a dismembered body hanging on a tree and various body parts. Deputy Schneiderman suggests aborting the operation and informing the military, but Hawes, stubbornly, insists on continuing. Suddenly, the group is startled by the appearance of the panicked Andrew. He insists they should turn back or everyone will be killed in a minute, and Sheriff Fowler decides to call the National Guard for help. However, Hawes grabs the walkie-talkie, cancels the request, and declares that the situation is under control. He then warns the group not to call for military help until he figures out what is happening. Deputy Schneiderman, frustrated, decides to leave but is grabbed and pinned to a tree by Hawes, who insists he should stop worrying. They hear Victor's scream, and instead of turning back, they decide to go to his house, despite Andrew begging them to turn back. At Victor Crowley's house, Hawes, the SWAT team, and the policemen position themselves. Suddenly, Victor attacks Deputy Elbert from behind, and another deputy is picked off by Crowley, prompting the group to retreat from the house. They begin shooting at Crowley's house, thinking they can kill the monster with bullets. When they believe it's all over, Crowley appears behind them and starts hacking a policeman with a hatchet. Others try to help, but Crowley is too strong and overcomes all of them. He then rips the policeman in half before ambushing the SWAT team and killing them all. Instead of running away, Hawes decides to tackle Crowley but is, in turn, pinned against the shed and has his spine torn out. While Rick catches Victor's attention, Deputy Schneiderman takes the opportunity to fire a rocket launcher at Crowley. Unfortunately, he misses and kills Rick, causing the Crowley house to explode, covering Victor in rubble. When Schneiderman begins to celebrate, Victor emerges from the wreckage and throws a piece of rubble into Schneiderman's back. The sheriff manages to slow Crowley down by shooting him in the chest with a handgun, and he, Doherty, and Andrew make their escape. Victor then proceeds to kill Schneiderman by ripping his arms off and drowning him in a puddle. Meanwhile, Amanda convinces Winslow to take her and Marybeth to Abbott McMullen's house, Victor Crowley's racist long-distant cousin and the only living blood relative who possesses the ashes of Thomas Crowley. When he refuses to give up the ashes, Amanda holds him at gunpoint and leaves with the ashes. Back at Honey Island Swamp, the other paramedic is chased by Victor Crowley and hides behind the canoe from the first movie. There, he finds Ben, who is still alive but severely injured, lying in the canoe with his left arm ripped off. As he pleads for help, Victor throws a hatchet at the paramedic, misses, and hits Ben in the face, finally killing him. Victor then advances towards the paramedic, and an alligator emerges from the swamp, pulling the paramedic underwater. Victor resumes chasing the sheriff, Andrew, and Doherty, cornering them in the water ambulance. They barricade themselves in, and the sheriff calls for the National Guard on the ambulance's radio, reporting that they're being attacked by crazed gunmen, and the National Guard assures them they'll be there in 10 minutes. Just as they settle down, thinking everything's all right, Victor starts sawing his way through the boat wall with a gas-powered belt sander. The sheriff instructs them not to move, emphasizing that any attempt to leave will result in them getting killed, but Andrew suggests they should leave while Victor is occupied cutting through the wall. Victor Crowley serves as the main antagonist in the Hatchet film series. He is depicted as a notorious and merciless spirit who gained legendary status as a mythical figure due to his gruesome acts of mass murder in the swamp. He is also portrayed as the archenemy of Marybeth Dustin. Amanda, Deputy Winslow, and Marybeth reach the swamp outside the burned-down Crowley house, and Amanda calls out for Victor, informing him they have his father. Hearing his wife's voice, Sheriff Fowler attempts to leave but is grabbed by Victor and beheaded with the belt sander. Andrew and Doherty are trapped in the boat with Victor on the other side of the broken door. Doherty tries to slowly retrieve the sheriff's gun, but Victor grabs her and pulls her through the hole in the door, disemboweling her. Andrew remains in the boat, keeping himself out of sight of Victor. Victor returns to his home, finding Marybeth, Amanda, and Deputy Winslow there. Marybeth offers Victor his father's ashes and apologizes for what her father did to him. Victor exclaims, "Daddy," upon seeing the ashes, and when he tries to take the ashes, Deputy Winslow shoots Victor down, but Victor rises back up and kills Winslow by ripping his chest apart. In response, Amanda tries to take the urn from Marybeth but is beheaded. Victor then knocks Marybeth over and impales her on a tree branch. Just as Victor is about to pick up a machete to finish Marybeth off, she smashes the urn over Victor's head, spreading his father's ashes all over him, causing him to melt. With the last bit of her strength, she grabs one of the SWAT team's guns and shoots Crowley away. Then, the National Guard arrives, and Andrew emerges from the boat, signaling the helicopters. The screen cuts to black, ending with a final shot of Marybeth gasping for air, leaving her fate ambiguous. Okay guys, that's all the recap about Hatchet Part 3 from 2013. Thanks for watching, see you again in the next video.